Hello everyone. Welcome back. In this part of our CBSE Class 10 Quadratic Equations series, we'll solve a variety of word problems using quadratic equations. Many students find word problems difficult because the equation is hidden inside the question. But don't worry. In this lesson, I'll show you a simple step-by-step approach to convert each problem into a quadratic equation and solve it with ease. We'll discuss different types of exam-oriented questions, including word problems based on marks scored, problems involving the sum of ages, general age-related questions, right-angle triangle problems using geometric figures, problems based on a rectangular field, questions involving two squares, word problems on a square swimming pool, problems related to a rhombus, questions based on a rectangular park, and mixed geometric figure problems involving rectangles, polygons, and hexagons. For every question, we'll carefully understand the given information, define the variable, form the quadratic equation, solve it, and verify the final answer. By the end of this video, you'll be much more confident in solving real-life application problems based on quadratic equations. So, let's get started with our first word problem. In this example, we will learn how to solve a word problem on marks scored using quadratic equations. Word problems are very common in examinations, and the key to solving them is to carefully read the question, identify the unknown quantity, and convert the given information into an equation. In this type of problem, the marks obtained by a student are usually represented by a variable, and the conditions given in the question help us form a quadratic equation. Once the quadratic equation is formed, we simplify it, factorize it, or use another suitable method to find the value of the variable. After finding the value, we substitute it back into the given condition and verify whether it satisfies the problem. Remember, while solving word problems, understanding the statement correctly is more important than the calculations themselves. Now, let us look at the given problem on marks scored and solve it step by step using a quadratic equation. Now, we will solve an interesting word problem based on marks scored in two subjects using quadratic equations. Let us first read the question carefully. The sum of Shefali's marks in mathematics and English is 30. If she had scored 2 marks more in mathematics and 3 marks less in English, then the product of the 2 marks would have been 210. We have to find her actual marks in both subjects. First, let us understand what we need to find. We need to find Shefali's marks in mathematics and English. We know that the total of the 2 marks is 30, but we do not know the individual marks. So, let us assume that Shefali scored X marks in mathematics. Since the total marks are 30, her marks in English will be 30 minus X. Now let us use the second condition given in the question. If Shefali had scored 2 marks more in mathematics, her new mathematics marks would be X plus 2. If she had scored 3 marks less in English, her new English marks would be 27 minus X. According to the question, the product of these new marks would be 210. So, we form the equation X plus 2 multiplied by 27 minus X equals 210. Now we expand and simplify the expression to obtain a quadratic equation. After simplification, we get X squared minus 25X plus 156 equals 0. To factorize this equation, we need two factors of 156 whose sum is 25. The factors are 13 and 12 because 13 plus 12 equals 25. Since the last term is positive and the middle term is negative, both factors will carry negative signs. Using these factors, we factorize the quadratic equation and get x minus 13 multiplied by x minus 12 equals 0. Therefore, x is equal to 13 or x is equal to 12. Let us check both possibilities. If mathematics marks are 13, then English marks will be 30 minus 13, which is 17. If mathematics marks are 12, then English marks will be 30 minus 12, which is 18. Both pairs satisfy the conditions given in the question. Hence, Shefali's marks in mathematics and English can be 13 and 17 respectively, or 12 and 18 respectively. So, the required marks are 13 and 17, or 12 and 18. In this example, we will learn how to solve a word problem based on age using quadratic equations. Age-related problems are very common in mathematics because they involve relationships between present ages, past ages, and future ages. To solve such problems, we first identify the unknown age and represent it using a variable. Next, we carefully translate the statements given in the question into mathematical expressions. These expressions help us form an equation. In some cases, the equation turns out to be a quadratic equation. After forming the quadratic equation, we simplify it and solve for the unknown variable. Once we obtain the value, we substitute it back into the age expressions to find the actual ages required in the question. While solving age problems, it is important to read each statement carefully and understand whether it refers to the present age, age a few years ago, or age after a few years. Now, let us solve the given age-based word problem step by step using a quadratic equation. Before we solve age-related questions, let us first understand what age-based word problems are. Age is something that changes with time. As years pass, a person's age increases. Because of this relationship between present age, past age, and future age, age problems can often be solved using algebra and quadratic equations. In age problems, we usually do not know the exact age of a person. So, we represent the unknown age with a variable, such as x. Then, we carefully read the statements given in the question and convert them into mathematical expressions. For example, if a person's present age is x years, then after 5 years the age will be x plus 5 years. Similarly, 5 years ago the age would have been x minus 5 years. By using such relationships, we form an equation based on the information given in the problem. Once the equation is formed, we simplify it and solve it to find the value of the variable. Finally, we substitute the value back into the age expressions and check whether the answer satisfies all the given conditions. In this chapter, we will learn how to solve different types of age-related word problems in a simple and systematic way using quadratic equations. Now, we will solve a word problem based on age using quadratic equations. Let us first read the question carefully. The sum of the reciprocals of Rahman's age 3 years ago and his age 5 years from now is 1/3. We have to find his present age. First, let us understand what we need to find. We need to find Rahman's present age. Do we know his present age? No. So, let us assume that Rahman's present age is x years. If his present age is x years, then his age 3 years ago would be x minus 3 years. Similarly, his age 5 years from now would be x plus 5 years. According to the condition given in the question, the reciprocal of his age 3 years ago plus the reciprocal of his age 5 years from now is equal to 1/3. Now, we add the two fractions by taking a common denominator and simplify the expression. After simplifying and cross-multiplying, we get the quadratic equation x squared minus 4x minus 21 equals 0. Now, we need to factorize this quadratic equation. we have to find two factors of 21 such that their difference is 4. The factors are 7 and 3 because 7 minus 3 equals 4. Since the last term is negative, we give the middle sign to the bigger factor and the opposite sign to the smaller factor. Using these factors, we split the middle term and factorize the equation. After factorization, we get x minus 7 multiplied by x plus 3 equals 0. Therefore, the possible values of x are 7 and negative 3. But h can never be negative. So, we reject negative 3. Hence, the value of x is 7. Therefore, the present age of Rahman is 7 years. So, the required answer is that Rahman's present age is 7 years. In this example, we will solve a word problem based on age using a quadratic equation. Age-related problems require us to carefully understand the relationship between the ages of different people. The information may involve present ages, past ages, future ages, sums of ages, or products of ages. To solve such questions, we first represent the unknown age using a variable. Then, we use the conditions given in the question to form a mathematical equation. After simplifying the equation, we obtain a quadratic equation, which can be solved by factorization or any other suitable method. Once we find the value of the variable, we substitute it back to determine the required ages. Finally, we verify that the obtained ages satisfy all the conditions given in the problem. Now, let us read the question carefully and solve the age-based problem step by step. Now, we will solve an interesting age problem using quadratic equations. Let us first read the question carefully. 2 years ago, my age was 4.5 times the age of my son. 6 years ago, my age was twice the square of the age of my son. We have to find the present age of my son. First, let us understand what we need to find. We need to find the present age of the son. Since we do not know the son's present age, let us assume that his present age is x years. Now let us use the first condition. 2 years ago, the son's age would have been x minus 2 years. At that time, the father's age was 4.5 times the son's age. 4.5 can be written as 9 by 2. Therefore, the father's age 2 years ago was 9 by 2 multiplied by x minus 2. To find the father's present age, we add 2 years. So, the father's present age becomes 9 by 2 multiplied by x minus 2 plus 2. Now let us use the second condition. 6 years ago, the son's age was x minus 6 years. According to the question, the father's age 6 years ago was twice the square of the son's age 6 years ago. Therefore, the father's age 6 years ago was 2 multiplied by the square of x minus 6. To get the father's present age, we add 6 years. So, the father's present age becomes 2 multiplied by the square of x minus 6 plus 6. Notice that both expressions represent the father's present age. Therefore, they must be equal. Now we will solve the rest in next slide. Now, both expressions for the father's present age have been formed. Let us simplify them and find the son's present age. We have already obtained two expressions for the father's present age. The first expression is 9 by 2 multiplied by x minus 2 plus 2. The second expression is 2 multiplied by the square of x minus 6 plus 6. Since both expressions represent the father's present age, they must be equal. So, we equate them and form an equation. Next, we simplify the equation by expanding the brackets and arranging all the terms on one side. After simplification, we get the quadratic equation. 4x squared minus 57x plus 170 equals 0. To factorize this equation, we first multiply the coefficient of x squared, which is 4, by the constant term 170. 4 multiplied by 170 gives 680. Now, we need two factors of 680 whose sum is 57. The factors are 40 and 17 because 40 plus 17 equals 57. Since the last term is positive and the middle term is negative, both factors will have negative signs. Using these factors, we split the middle term and factorize the equation. After factorization, we get x minus 10 multiplied by 4x minus 17 equals 0. Therefore, the possible values of x are 10 and 17 by 4. Now, let us check which value is acceptable. If x is 17 by 4, then the son's age 6 years ago becomes negative, which is not possible because age cannot be negative. So, we reject this value. Therefore, the valid value of x is 10. Since x represents the son's present age, we conclude that the present age of the son is 10 years. Hence, the required answer is 10 years. Now, we will learn how to solve problems involving geometrical figures that are based on right-angled triangles. You may have noticed that in some geometry problems, we need to find an unknown length, width, height, or area. When we use the properties of a right-angled triangle and apply mathematical formulas, we sometimes get an equation containing a square term. Such an equation is called a quadratic equation. We will use important concepts such as the Pythagoras theorem and the formulas of different geometrical figures to form quadratic equations and then solve them. Do not worry if this sounds difficult. We will go through each step carefully with examples and explanations. By the end of this lesson, you will be able to understand how geometry and algebra are connected and how quadratic equations can help us solve practical problems. So, let us begin our journey into the world of quadratic equations and right-angled triangles. Before we start solving problems, let us look at some common geometric figures around us. In the picture, you can see different three-dimensional shapes such as cubes, cuboids, cylinders, cones, and spheres. These shapes are found in many objects we use every day. For example, a dice looks like a cube, a box looks like a cuboid, a water pipe resembles a cylinder, and an ice cream cone has the shape of a cone. In word problems, information about these geometric figures is usually given in the form of dimensions such as length, breadth, height, radius, or diameter. Our task is to use the given information, form an equation, and then find the unknown value. Sometimes, these problems involve areas, volumes, or the dimensions of right-angled triangles. When we translate the information into mathematical form, we may obtain a quadratic equation. To solve such questions successfully, we must first identify the geometric figure involved, write the appropriate formula, and then carefully form and solve the equation. Let us now learn how to solve these interesting word problems step by step. Now let us carefully read the question. The question says that the altitude of a right triangle is 7 centimeters less than its base. Also, the hypotenuse is 13 centimeters. We have to find the lengths of the other two sides. Before solving, let us identify the geometric figure involved. Since the question mentions a base, an altitude, and a hypotenuse, the figure considered here is a right-angled triangle. This is an important first step. Whenever you solve a word problem, first identify the geometric figure and recall the formula or theorem related to it. Let us now proceed to the solution. We are told that the altitude is 7 centimeters less than the base. In comparative statements, it is usually convenient to take the larger quantity as the variable. So, let the base of the right triangle be x centimeters. Since the altitude is 7 centimeters less than the base, the altitude will be x minus 7 centimeters. The hypotenuse is already given as 13 centimeters. Now we know all three sides in terms of known values and a variable. The next step is to find a relationship that connects these three sides. Do we know any theorem that connects the base, altitude, and hypotenuse of a right-angled triangle? Yes, we do. It is the Pythagoras theorem. According to Pythagoras theorem, the square of the hypotenuse is equal to the sum of the squares of the other two sides. Using this theorem, we can form an equation involving the unknown variable x and then solve it. Let us apply the theorem in the next step. Using Pythagoras theorem, base squared plus altitude squared equals hypotenuse squared. Substituting the given values, we get x squared plus x minus 7 whole squared equals 13 squared. Now expand and simplify the equation carefully. After simplifying, we obtain 2x squared minus 14x minus 120 equals 0. Dividing every term by 2 gives x squared minus 7x minus 60 equals 0. Now we have obtained a quadratic equation. The next step is to factorize it. To factorize the quadratic equation, let us first find the factors of 60. The prime factorization of 60 is 2 multiplied by 2 multiplied by 3 multiplied by 5. Now we need two numbers whose product is 60 and whose difference is 7. Let us find those numbers in the next step. We need two factors of 60 whose difference is equal to 7. The numbers 12 and 5 satisfy this condition because 12 minus 5 equals 7. Since the middle term in the equation is negative and the constant term is also negative, we assign the negative sign to the larger factor and the positive sign to the smaller factor. Therefore, the two required numbers are negative 12 and positive 5. Using these factors, we split the middle term. The equation becomes x squared minus 12x plus 5x minus 60 equals 0. Now we group the terms and take common factors. This gives x multiplied by x minus 12 plus 5 multiplied by x minus 12 equals 0. Taking the common factor x minus 12, we get x minus 12 multiplied by x plus 5 equals 0. The quadratic equation has now been factorized successfully. Since the product of two factors is 0, either factor can be 0. So, x minus 12 equals 0. Or x plus 5 equals 0. This gives x equals 12. Or x equals negative 5. But the length of a side of a triangle cannot be negative. Therefore, we reject negative 5. Hence, the value of x is 12. Since the altitude is x minus 7, altitude equals 12 minus 7, which is 5. Therefore, the other two sides of the right triangle are 12 centimeters and 5 centimeters. So, the required answer is base equals 12 centimeters and altitude equals 5 centimeters. In this lesson, we will learn how to solve word problems based on rectangular fields using quadratic equations. A rectangle is one of the most common geometric shapes that we see around us. Playgrounds, gardens, parks, farms, and agricultural fields are often rectangular in shape. In many real-life situations, we may know the area of a rectangular field and the relationship between its length and breadth. Using this information, we can form a quadratic equation and find the unknown dimensions of the field. To solve such problems, we need to remember the formula. Area of a rectangle equals length multiplied by breadth. By converting the given information into mathematical expressions, we can form a quadratic equation and solve it step by step. In this lesson, we will learn an easy method to understand the problem, form the equation, factorize it, and find the required dimensions of the rectangular field. So, let us begin with our first example. Let us carefully read the question. We are told that the diagonal of a rectangular field is 60 meters more than its shorter side. Also, the longer side is 30 meters more than the shorter side. We have to find the lengths of the sides of the field. Before starting the solution, let us identify the geometric figure involved. Since the question talks about a rectangular field, the geometric figure considered here is a rectangle. Whenever we solve a word problem, the first step is to identify the figure and understand what quantities are given and what we have to find. Now let us understand the requirement of the question. The question asks us to find the sides of the rectangular field. That means we need to find the shorter side and the longer side. Once we know these two dimensions, our answer will be complete. Let us now use the information given in the question to form mathematical expressions. The question gives two important relationships. First, the longer side is 30 meters more than the shorter side. Second, the diagonal is 60 meters more than the shorter side. These relationships will help us express all the unknown lengths using a single variable. Let us now assign a variable and convert the statements into algebraic form. In comparative statements, it is usually convenient to take the quantity mentioned later as the variable. So, let the shorter side of the rectangular field be x meters. Since the longer side is 30 meters more than the shorter side, the longer side will be x plus 30 meters. Similarly, the diagonal is 60 meters more than the shorter side, so the diagonal will be x plus 60 meters. Now all the unknown quantities are expressed in terms of x. The next step is to find a relationship connecting these three lengths. If we draw a diagonal inside a rectangle, the rectangle gets divided into two right-angled triangles. In triangle ABC, angle B is 90 degrees. Therefore, triangle ABC is a right-angled triangle. Do we know any theorem that connects all three sides of a right-angled triangle? Yes, we do. It is the Pythagoras theorem. Using this theorem, we can form an equation involving x. According to Pythagoras theorem, hypotenuse squared equals base squared plus perpendicular squared. Substituting the values, x plus 60 whole squared equals x squared plus x plus 30 whole squared. Expanding and simplifying both sides carefully, we get x squared minus 60x minus 2700 equals 0. This is the quadratic equation that we need to solve. To solve it, we will factorize it. We need two numbers whose product is 2700 and whose difference is 60. The numbers 90 and 30 satisfy this condition because 90 minus 30 equals 60. Since the middle term is negative and the constant term is negative, we assign the negative sign to the larger factor and the positive sign to the smaller factor. Therefore, the required numbers are negative 90 and positive 30. Using these factors, we split the middle term. The equation becomes x squared minus 90x plus 30x minus 2700 equals 0. Now we group the terms and take common factors. This gives x multiplied by x minus 90 plus 30 multiplied by x minus 90 equals 0. Taking the common factor x minus 90, we get x minus 90 multiplied by x plus 30 equals 0. The quadratic equation is now factorized. Since the product of two factors is 0, either factor can be 0. So, x minus 90 equals 0, or x plus 30 equals 0. This gives x equals 90, or x equals negative 30. But the length of a side cannot be negative. Therefore, we reject negative 30. Hence, x equals 90. We found that the shorter side is equal to x, which is 90 meters. The longer side is x plus 30. Substituting the value of x, 90 plus 30 equals 120. Therefore, the dimensions of the rectangular field are: shorter side equals 90 meters and longer side equals 120 meters. So, the required sides of the rectangular field are 90 meters and 120 meters. Now, we will learn how to solve word problems based on two squares. A square is a special shape in which all four sides are equal and all four angles are right angles. Squares are commonly seen in floor tiles, chessboards, windows, and many other objects around us. Sometimes, we are given information about the sides or areas of two squares. We may be asked to find the side lengths of the squares or determine the relationship between them. To solve such problems, we convert the given information into mathematical expressions and form a quadratic equation. The most important formula that we will use is: area of a square is equal to side multiplied by side. In other words, the area of a square is obtained by multiplying the side length by itself. In this lesson, we will learn how to understand the problem, choose suitable variables, form a quadratic equation, factorize it, and finally find the required answer. We will solve each problem step by step in a simple and logical manner so that the method becomes easy to understand and remember. So, let us begin our study of quadratic equations based on two squares. Let us carefully read the question. We are told that the sum of the areas of two squares is 468 square meters. We are also told that the difference between their perimeters is 24 meters. What do we have to find? We have to find the lengths of the sides of the two squares. To make the problem easier, let us consider two squares, one smaller square and one bigger square. Now let us assign variables to their sides. Let the side of the smaller square be x meters. We do not yet know the side of the bigger square, so for the time being, let us simply call it side. We will use the information given in the question to find the relationship between these two sides. Once we know that relationship, we can form an equation and solve the problem. The question states that the difference between the perimeters of the two squares is 24 meters. In other words, perimeter of the bigger square minus perimeter of the smaller square equals 24 meters. To use this information, we first need to recall the formula for the perimeter of a square. Let us do that in the next step. We know that the perimeter of a square is 4 times its side. Therefore, perimeter of the bigger square is 4 multiplied by its side. Perimeter of the smaller square is 4 multiplied by x. According to the given condition, 4 multiplied by side minus 4 multiplied by x equals 24. Dividing every term by 4, we get side minus x equals 6. Therefore, side equals x plus 6. So, the side of the bigger square is x plus 6 meters. Now we can use the information about the areas. We know that the area of a square is side multiplied by side. The area of the smaller square is x squared. The area of the bigger square is x plus 6 whole squared. The sum of the areas is 468 square meters. Therefore, x squared plus x plus 6 whole squared equals 468. After expanding and simplifying, we get 2x squared plus 12x minus 432 equals 0. Dividing every term by 2, we obtain x squared plus 6x minus 216 equals 0. This is our quadratic equation. Now we need two numbers whose product is 216 and whose difference is 6. The numbers 18 and 12 satisfy this condition because 18 minus 12 equals 6. Since the middle term is positive and the last term is negative, we assign a positive sign to 18 and a negative sign to 12. These are the numbers we will use to split the middle term. Replacing 6x with 18x minus 12x, the equation becomes x squared plus 18x minus 12x minus 216 equals 0. Now let us group the terms. Taking common factors, we get x multiplied by x plus 18 minus 12 multiplied by x plus 18 equals 0. Taking x plus 18 as the common factor, we obtain x plus 18 multiplied by x minus 12 equals 0. The quadratic equation has now been factorized. Since the product of two factors is 0, either factor can be 0. So, x plus 18 equals 0. Or, x minus 12 equals 0. This gives x equals negative 18. Or, x equals 12. Since the side of a square cannot be negative, we reject negative 18. Therefore, x equals 12. The side of the smaller square is 12 meters. We have found that the side of the smaller square is 12 meters. The side of the bigger square is x plus 6. Substituting the value of x, 12 plus 6 equals 18. Therefore, the side of the bigger square is 18 meters. Hence, the sides of the two squares are 12 meters and 18 meters. So, the required answer is the two squares have side lengths of 12 meters and 18 meters. Now, we will learn how to solve a word problem based on a square swimming pool. A swimming pool can have different shapes, but in this problem, the swimming pool is square in shape. Since all sides of a square are equal, we can use the properties of a square to form mathematical equations. Many real-life problems involve areas, boundaries, paths, gardens, playgrounds, and swimming pools. When information about their dimensions is given, we can convert the statements into algebraic expressions and then form a quadratic equation. To solve such problems successfully, we need to remember some important formulas related to squares, especially the formulas for area and perimeter. As we proceed, we will carefully understand the given information, choose suitable variables, form a quadratic equation, solve it step by step, and finally find the required dimensions. By learning this method, you will be able to solve many real-life geometry problems involving squares with confidence. So, let us begin our word problem based on a square swimming pool. Let us carefully read the question. We are told that there is a square swimming pool and a footpath of width 2 meters around it. The area of the footpath is 5/4 of the area of the pool. What do we need to find? We need to find the area of the swimming pool. Since the pool is square in shape, if we can find the length of one side, we can easily calculate its area. Let us start by assuming the side of the pool. The swimming pool is square in shape. We know that the area of a square is obtained by multiplying the side by itself. Therefore, to find the area of the pool, we first need to find the length of its side. Once we know the side length, finding the area will be very easy. Let us assign a variable to the side of the pool. Let the length of each side of the square pool be x meters. Since the area of a square is side multiplied by side, the area of the pool is x squared square meters. The question tells us that the area of the footpath is 5/4 of the area of the pool. Therefore, the area of the footpath is 5/4 multiplied by x squared square meters. Now we need to find the area of the outer square formed by the pool and the footpath together. The footpath is 2 meters wide on every side of the pool. So, the outer square becomes larger by 2 meters on the left, 2 meters on the right, 2 meters at the top, and 2 meters at the bottom. Therefore, the side length of the outer square is x plus 4 meters. Since the area of a square is side multiplied by side, the area of the outer square is x plus 4 whole squared square meters. Now remember an important relationship. Area of the pool plus area of the footpath equals area of the outer square. Using this relationship, we can form a quadratic equation in the next step. Now let us form the equation. We already know area of the pool equals x squared. Area of the footpath equals 5/4 multiplied by x squared. Area of the outer square equals x plus 4 whole squared. Also, area of the pool plus area of the footpath equals area of the outer square. Substituting the values, we get x squared plus 5/4 multiplied by x squared equals x plus 4 whole squared. Expanding and simplifying. 5/4 multiplied by x squared equals 8x plus 16. Bringing all terms to one side, we get 5/4 multiplied by x squared minus 8x minus 16 equals 0. To remove the fraction, multiply every term by 4. This gives 5x squared minus 32x minus 64 equals 0. Now we have obtained a quadratic equation. Let us factorize it. We need two numbers whose product is 320 and whose difference is 32. The numbers 40 and 8 satisfy this condition because 40 minus 8 equals 32. Since the middle term is negative and the last term is also negative, we give the negative sign to the larger factor and the positive sign to the smaller factor. Therefore, the required numbers are negative 40 and positive 8. Using these numbers, we split the middle term. The equation becomes 5x squared minus 40x plus 8x minus 64 equals 0. Now let us group the terms. Taking common factors, we get 5x multiplied by x minus 8 plus 8 multiplied by x minus 8 equals 0. Taking x minus 8 as the common factor, we obtain x minus 8 multiplied by 5x plus 8 equals 0. The quadratic equation is now factorized. Since the product of two factors is 0, either factor can be 0. So, x minus 8 equals 0. Or 5x plus 8 equals 0. This gives x equals 8. Or x equals negative 8 divided by 5. The side length of a swimming pool cannot be negative. Therefore, negative 8 divided by 5 is rejected. Hence, x equals 8. So, the side of the square pool is 8 meters. We have found that the side of the swimming pool is 8 meters. The area of a square is side multiplied by side. Therefore, area of the pool equals 8 multiplied by 8. This gives area of the pool equals 64 square meters. Hence, the required answer is the area of the square swimming pool is 64 square meters. Now, we will learn how to solve a word problem based on a rhombus. A rhombus is a special quadrilateral in which all four sides are equal in length. It looks similar to a slanted square, but its angles are not necessarily right angles. One important property of a rhombus is that its diagonals bisect each other at right angles. This property often helps us form right-angled triangles inside the rhombus, allowing us to apply the Pythagoras theorem. In many examination problems, information about the sides, diagonals, perimeter, or area of a rhombus is given. By carefully using the properties of a rhombus and forming mathematical equations, we can obtain a quadratic equation and find the required measurements. In this lesson, we will learn how to understand the given information, choose suitable variables, form a quadratic equation, solve it step by step, and arrive at the correct answer. So, let us begin our word problem based on a rhombus. Let us carefully read the question. We are told that one diagonal of a rhombus is 4 centimeters longer than the other diagonal. The area of the rhombus is 96 square centimeters. What do we need to find? We need to find the length of a side of the rhombus. To solve the problem, let us first assume one of the diagonals and use the area formula of a rhombus. Let the smaller diagonal of the rhombus be x centimeters. Since the other diagonal is 4 centimeters longer, its length will be x plus 4 centimeters. We know that area of a rhombus equals 1/2 multiplied by the product of its diagonals. Substituting the given values, 96 equals 1/2 multiplied by x plus 4. Multiplying both sides by 2, we get 192 equals x squared plus 4x. Bringing all terms to one side, x squared plus 4x minus 192 equals 0. This is the quadratic equation that we need to solve. Now we need two numbers whose product is 192 and whose difference is 4. The numbers 16 and 12 satisfy this condition because 16 minus 12 equals 4. Since the middle term is positive and the last term is negative, we assign a positive sign to 16 and a negative sign to 12. These numbers will help us factorize the quadratic equation. Replacing 4x with 16x minus 12x, the equation becomes x squared plus 16x minus 12x minus 192 equals 0. Now let us group the terms. Taking common factors, we get x multiplied by x plus 16 minus 12 multiplied by x plus 16 equals 0. Taking x plus 16 as the common factor, we obtain x plus 16 multiplied by x minus 12 equals 0. The equation has now been factorized. Since the product of two factors is 0, either factor can be 0. So, x plus 16 equals 0. Or x minus 12 equals 0. This gives x equals negative 16. Or x equals 12. A diagonal cannot have a negative length. Therefore, we reject negative 16. Hence, x equals 12. The smaller diagonal is 12 centimeters. The larger diagonal is 12 plus 4, which is 16 centimeters. Now let us use these diagonals to find the side of the rhombus. We know an important property of a rhombus. The diagonals of a rhombus bisect each other at right angles. This means each diagonal is divided into two equal parts. The smaller diagonal is 12 centimeters, so half of it is 6 centimeters. The larger diagonal is 16 centimeters, so half of it is 8 centimeters. These halves form the two shorter sides of a right-angled triangle inside the rhombus. The side of the rhombus becomes the hypotenuse of that triangle. Consider the right-angled triangle formed by the half diagonals. Using Pythagoras theorem, Square of the hypotenuse equals square of one side plus square of the other side. Therefore, square of the side of the rhombus equals 6 squared plus 8 squared. This gives square of the side of the rhombus equals 36 plus 64. Square of the side of the rhombus equals 100. Taking the square root of both sides, side of the rhombus equals 10 centimeters. We found that the diagonals of the rhombus are 12 centimeters and 16 centimeters. Using the property of diagonals and Pythagoras' theorem, we found that the side of the rhombus is 10 centimeters. Therefore, the required answer is the side of the rhombus is 10 centimeters. Now, we will learn how to solve a word problem based on a rectangular park. Rectangular parks are commonly found in schools, housing complexes, public gardens, and recreational areas. Problems based on such parks often involve their length, breadth, area, perimeter, or paths constructed around them. To solve these problems, we need to understand the properties of a rectangle and use the appropriate formulas. Remember, area of a rectangle is equal to length multiplied by breadth. Also, perimeter of a rectangle is equal to 2 multiplied by the sum of its length and breadth. In many situations, the dimensions of the park are not given directly. Instead, a relationship between the length and breadth is provided. Using that information, we form an algebraic equation which often becomes a quadratic equation. We then solve the quadratic equation to find the required dimensions or area. In this lesson, we will carefully analyze the given information, choose suitable variables, form the required equation, solve it step by step, and arrive at the correct answer. So, let us begin our word problem based on a rectangular park. Let us read the question. Is it possible to design a rectangular park of perimeter 80 meters and area 400 square meters? If so, find its length and breadth. We need to determine whether such a rectangular park can exist. If it exists, we also have to find its length and breadth. Let us assume the length of the rectangle is x meters and the breadth of the rectangle is y meters. Now, using the given perimeter and area, we shall form a quadratic equation and solve it. Since we have to find both the length and the breadth of the rectangular park, let us assume length of the rectangle is x meters and breadth of the rectangle is y meters. We know that the perimeter of a rectangle is equal to 2 times the sum of its length and breadth. According to the question, the perimeter is 80 meters. Using this information, let us form our first equation. According to the given condition, perimeter equals 80 meters. Therefore, 2 multiplied by length plus breadth equals 80. Substituting the assumed values, we get 2 multiplied by x plus y equals 80. Dividing both sides by 2, x plus y equals 40. Therefore, y equals 40 minus x. So, if the length is x meters, then the breadth must be 40 minus x meters. We know that area of a rectangle equals length multiplied by breadth. According to the question, the area is 400 square meters. Substituting the values of length and breadth, we get x multiplied by the quantity 40 minus x equals 400. Multiplying the terms, 40x minus x square equals 400. Bringing all terms to one side, x square minus 40x plus 400 equals 0. We have obtained a quadratic equation. To determine whether the given situation is possible, the quadratic equation must have real roots. For that, let us calculate the discriminant. The discriminant is given by b square minus 4ac. Here, a equals 1. B equals minus 40 and C equals 400. Substituting these values, B square minus 4AC equals minus 40 whole square minus 4 multiplied by 1 multiplied by 400. This gives 1600 minus 1600. Therefore, the discriminant is equal to 0. Since the discriminant is 0, the quadratic equation has real and equal roots. Hence, the given situation is possible. We have obtained the quadratic equation. X square minus 40x plus 400 equals 0. This equation is already in standard form. Now, let us solve it using the factorization method. For factorization by splitting the middle term, we need to find two factors of 400 whose sum is equal to minus 40. Let us find two factors of 400 whose sum is minus 40. The required factors are minus 20 and minus 20. Since the last sign is positive and the middle term is negative, both factors will be negative. Therefore, x square minus 40x plus 400 equals 0 can be written as x square minus 20x plus 400 equals 0. Taking common factors from the first two terms and the last two terms, we get x multiplied by the quantity x minus 20 minus 20 multiplied by the quantity x minus 20. Taking the quantity x minus 20 as the common factor, we get the quantity x minus 20 multiplied by the quantity x minus 20 equals 0. Since the product of two factors is 0, at least one factor must be 0. Therefore, x minus 20 equals 0. Hence, x equals 20. We had already obtained breadth equals 40 minus x. Substituting x equals 20. Breadth equals 40 minus 20, which is 20 meters. Therefore, the length of the rectangular park is 20 meters. And the breadth of the rectangular park is also 20 meters. Hence, the park is actually a square having a side of 20 meters. Thus, it is possible to design a rectangular park with perimeter 80 meters and area 400 square meters. Now, we shall learn how to solve a word problem involving a geometric figure, namely a rectangle, using a quadratic equation. We will carefully analyze the given information, form an equation based on the dimensions of the rectangle, convert it into a quadratic equation, and then solve it step by step. Let us begin with the problem. Let us read the question carefully. A rectangular playground has an area of 420 square meters. If its length is increased by 7 meters and its breadth is decreased by 5 meters, the area remains unchanged. We have to find the original length and breadth of the playground. Let us solve this step by step. We are required to find two unknown quantities: the length and the breadth of the rectangular playground. Since the playground is rectangular, let us assume the length to be x meters. Using the given area, we shall express the breadth in terms of x. We know that area of a rectangle equals length multiplied by breadth. The area of the playground is 420 square meters. Therefore, 420 equals x multiplied by breadth. Dividing both sides by x. Breadth equals 420 divided by x. So, the dimensions of the original playground are length equals x meters and breadth equals 420 divided by x meters. According to the question, the length is increased by 7 meters. Therefore, the new length becomes x plus 7 meters. The breadth is decreased by 5 meters. Therefore, the new breadth becomes 420 divided by x minus 5 meters. The important point is that the area remains unchanged. Hence, the area of the new rectangle is also 420 square meters. Area of the new rectangle equals length multiplied by breadth. Therefore, 420 equals x plus 7 multiplied by 420 divided by x minus 5. Now let us simplify this equation. Multiplying the terms, 420 equals x multiplied by 420 divided by x minus 5 plus 7 multiplied by 420 divided by x minus 5. After simplifying, 420 equals 420 minus 5x plus 2940 divided by x minus 35. The 420 on both sides gets cancelled. We are left with 0 equals negative 5x plus 2940 divided by x minus 35. Multiplying every term by x to remove the denominator, 0 equals negative 5x squared plus 2940 minus 35x. Rearranging, 5x squared plus 35x minus 2940 equals 0. Dividing throughout by 5, we get x squared plus 7x minus 588 equals 0. This is our quadratic equation. To factorize the quadratic equation, we need two numbers whose product is 588 and whose difference is 7. The required numbers are 28 and 21. Since the last sign is negative, the larger number takes the positive sign and the smaller number takes the negative sign. So, x squared plus 28x minus 21x minus 588 equals 0. Grouping the terms, x multiplied by x plus 28 minus 21 multiplied by x plus 28 equals 0. Taking the common factor, x plus 28 multiplied by x minus 21 equals 0. Therefore, x plus 28 equals 0 or x minus 21 equals 0. This gives x equals negative 28 or x equals 21. Since length cannot be negative, negative 28 is rejected. Hence, x equals 21. Therefore, the length of the playground is 21 meters. We know that breadth equals 420 divided by x. Substituting x equals 21. Breadth equals 420 divided by 21. This gives breadth equals 20 meters. Therefore, the length of the rectangular playground is 21 meters and the breadth of the rectangular playground is 20 meters. Now, we will solve another interesting word problem based on quadratic equations. This problem is related to a geometric figure, specifically a polygon. We will learn how the properties of a polygon can be translated into a mathematical equation. Then, using algebraic techniques, we will form a quadratic equation and solve it step by step. By the end of this example, we will see how quadratic equations help us determine unknown dimensions in geometric figures. Let us begin with the question. Let us read the question. The exterior angle of a regular polygon having n sides is greater than the exterior angle of another regular polygon having n squared sides by 50 degrees. We have to find the number of sides of each polygon. Before solving the problem, Let us quickly recall what a regular polygon is. A regular polygon is a closed figure in which all sides are equal and all angles are equal. For example, an equilateral triangle is a regular polygon with 3 sides, and a square is a regular polygon with 4 sides. Let the number of sides of the first regular polygon be n. Then the number of sides of the second regular polygon will be n squared. Remember an important formula. The exterior angle of any regular polygon is equal to 360 degrees divided by the number of sides. For an equilateral triangle, the exterior angle is 360 divided by 3, which is 120 degrees. For a square, the exterior angle is 360 divided by 4, which is 90 degrees. Using the same formula, the exterior angle of the polygon having n sides is 360 divided by n. The exterior angle of the polygon having n squared sides is 360 divided by n squared. According to the question, the exterior angle of the first polygon is 50 degrees more than the exterior angle of the second polygon. Therefore, 360 divided by n equals 360 divided by n squared plus 50. Multiplying throughout by n squared, we get 360 n equals 360 plus 50 n squared. Dividing throughout by 10, 36 n equals 36 plus 5 n squared. Bringing all terms to one side, 5n squared minus 36n plus 36 equals 0. We have obtained a quadratic equation. To factorize this quadratic equation, we multiply the coefficient of n squared and the constant term. 5 multiplied by 36 gives 180. Now we need two factors of 180 whose sum is 36. These factors are 30 and 6. Since the middle term is negative and the constant term is positive, both factors will be negative. Therefore, we split the middle term as minus 30n and minus 6n. The equation becomes 5n squared minus 30n minus 6n plus 36 equals 0. Taking common factors, 5n multiplied by n minus 6, minus 6 multiplied by n minus 6. Taking n minus 6 common, we get n minus 6 multiplied by 5 n minus 6 equals 0. For the product to be 0, either n minus 6 equals 0 or 5n minus 6 equals 0. From the first equation, n equals 6. From the second equation, n equals 6 divided by 5. But the number of sides of a polygon cannot be a fraction. Therefore, 6 divided by 5 is not acceptable. Hence, n equals 6. Since n equals 6, n squared equals 6 squared, which is 36. Therefore, the two polygons have 6 sides and 36 sides respectively. Hence, the required polygons have 6 sides and 36 sides. This is the final answer. Now, we will solve a word problem based on a geometric figure called a hexagon. A hexagon is a polygon that has 6 sides. We will use the properties of a hexagon and convert the given information into a quadratic equation. Then, by solving the quadratic equation, we will determine the unknown quantity asked in the question. This example will help us understand how geometry and algebra work together in solving real mathematical problems. Let us begin with the question. Let us read the question carefully. The side of one regular hexagon is larger than the side of another regular hexagon by 1 centimeter. The product of their areas is 243. We have to find the sides of both the regular hexagons. Before proceeding, Let us recall what a regular hexagon is. A hexagon is a polygon having 6 sides. A regular hexagon is a hexagon in which all 6 sides are equal in length. Now let us consider two regular hexagons, one smaller and one bigger. Let the side of the smaller regular hexagon be x centimeters. Since the side of the bigger hexagon is 1 centimeter more, its side will be x plus 1 centimeters. We know that the area of a regular hexagon having side length is given by 3 root 3 by 2 multiplied by the square of the side. Therefore, the area of the smaller hexagon is 3 root 3 by 2 multiplied by x squared. Similarly, the area of the bigger hexagon is 3 root 3 by 2 multiplied by the square of x plus 1. According to the given condition, the product of these two areas is equal to 243. Therefore, 3 root 3 by 2 multiplied by x squared multiplied by 3 root 3 by 2 multiplied by the square of x plus 1 is equal to 243. Now we will simplify this equation and form a quadratic equation to find the value of x. Now let us simplify the equation. We have 3 root 3 by 2 multiplied by x squared multiplied by 3 root 3 by 2 multiplied by the square of x plus 1 is equal to 243. Multiplying the constants, we get 9 multiplied by 3 divided by 4 multiplied by x squared and the square of x plus 1 is equal to 243. That is 27 by 4 multiplied by x squared multiplied by the square of x plus 1 equals 243. Multiplying both sides by 4 and dividing by 27, we get the square of x multiplied by x plus 1 equals 36. This can be written as the square of the quantity x multiplied by x plus 1 equals 36. Taking the square root on both sides, x multiplied by x plus 1 is equal to plus or minus 6. Since the product of side lengths cannot be negative, we reject the negative value. Therefore, x multiplied by x plus 1 equals 6. Expanding the expression, x squared plus x equals 6. Bringing all terms to one side, x squared plus x minus 6 equals 0. Now let us factorize this quadratic equation. We need two numbers whose product is 6 and whose difference is 1. These numbers are 3 and 2. Since the middle term is positive and the constant term is negative, we take plus 3 and minus 2. Therefore, x squared plus 3x minus 2x minus 6 equals 0. Taking common factors, x multiplied by x plus 3 minus 2 multiplied by x plus 3 equals 0. Taking x plus 3 as the common factor, we get x plus 3 multiplied by x minus 2 equals 0. Therefore, x plus 3 equals 0. Or x minus 2 equals 0. So, x equals minus 3. Or x equals 2. Since the side length of a hexagon cannot be negative, we reject minus 3. Hence, x equals 2. The side of the larger hexagon is x plus 1. Therefore, x plus 1 equals to plus 1, which is equal to 3. Hence, the sides of the two regular hexagons are 2 centimeters and 3 centimeters. So, the required sides are 2 centimeters and 3 centimeters. Thank you for watching. I hope this lesson helped you understand the concept clearly. For worksheets, notes, test papers, videos, and study planner, visit our website. Also, join our Telegram channel to get regular updates. Links are given in the description box below. If you found this helpful, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to the channel. Also, turn on the notification bell so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.